Well, good evening to all of you and welcome one more time to your show here on Sankofa. We are excited to have you and thank you for welcoming us into your rooms, into your houses, into your living rooms, on your phones, wherever you are, in Abuja, in Accra, Brazzaville, Nigeria, Port Harcourt, you are in Kinshasa, South Africa, Botswana, Gaborone, Lusaka, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, anywhere on the continent of Africa. We're excited to be having you again tonight on your Sankofa program. And you know what we do here. We bring you real people, having real conversations and having a contribution. And the whole idea is to look backwards at the future, having to look back where we are coming from, understanding where we are right now, and focusing into the future that we want to go. I'll give you a small little breakdown today in terms of our robust introduction and welcome you all to what I might want to call Political Science 101. When you are building a political system, when you are building a colonial system, when you are building an oppressive system, here are the four major steps that you do. Number one, it is that you build businesses. You build businesses, viable businesses that make money. And if that money can be found through cheap labor, if it can be found through cheap land, if it can be found through any means, profit is more important than people. And once you have the money in your hands, the next stage is that you buy the politicians. Yes, you heard me well. You buy the politicians. Because politicians to me in my own world, sorry to use foul language, politics to me in my own world is like prostitution. It goes to the highest bidder. The one who's got the most money will get the woman that he wants. And every politician on the face of the earth, they are up for sale. If you have the right money, you can buy them. Therefore, the business people then put their money together and they buy the political system. And after they've bought the politicians who makes lots of noise and propaganda, on top of him, then they put the legal system, the jurisdiction. And the legal system then protects the politician, who in the other side also is protecting the local businesses that are at the bottom. And through the legal system, that's where you institute the constitutions that manage the entire operation, from business to trade to industry to everything else. You run around that same place because law becomes the umbilical cord that joins the entire community. And over and above the legal system, then you put media and propaganda and education. For me, it's just one thing, it's communication. Then the politician, who he has in his mouth and in his pocket the money of the businessman, who then appoints the legal system. The legal system then approves what the people must be hearing at the bottom and what people must be doing. That is how colonialism was built. And why am I giving you such a small introduction? Because if we must begin to dismantle, if we must begin to decolonize, if we must begin to empower the African child, and if we must begin to build the new system which we want to have for ourselves and our children, we better have a clear understanding of how the system is structured. Having understood how the system is structured, then we can see how best do we begin to dismantle, to debunk this monster we call colonialism that has harassed us for the longest of time. And I would not find better guests for you today. I have two guests. I have a fine young man here, Prince Sikhosana, who is sitting with me in studio. And we could not have a chance of having our other guest, Advocate Zakaria, who is practicing in terms of civil matters and matrimonial law, but has done lots of work also around the whole space of legalities. And I want us to have a conversation tonight, a very candid conversation, as to how do we begin to make sense of the system that we are living in. And I think to start with, I would want to open up with Zakaria, Advocate Zakaria, who is on the line with us from the Pretoria on our Zoom, on our Skype. Is it Skype or Zoom account? Who can quickly maybe give us a breakdown in less than 3 minutes? Advocate Zakaria, take us through the judiciary part and how that has played its way into the coronavirus and the challenges we're facing on the legal front.
Much to you, and also thank you very much.
And I can't hear him, yeah.
The South Africans.
Excellent.
South African viewers. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity so that I can be able to outline certain things which I believe that they are important at this juncture in respect of our laws in the country, actually what is going on. So far, we are quite correct, and then we do understand that the politics are existing on the other side, the business is also going on the other side, and we understand that they work hand in hand. However, far away from those things, what is important is life itself. Because before you can talk about the business, before you can talk about the politics, there must be the people who are existing on this earth. And those are the people who are right now alive. Then what is important right now, what is at stake is their life. These people who are existing right now, we can't just say that we are concerned about the trading of them, or the trading of them, or we are concerned about what politicians are doing in respect of fighting among themselves, in respect of who is able to get the big chunk. But what I'm concerned here is the life which at stake here. We can be able to see that in our country right now, we have got a problem of coronavirus, which is existing throughout the world. And then we know very well that right now, what is important for us is to ensure that we kept the existence of this disease, which is continue to engulf our people, especially the Africans in Africa at large. But right now, here in South Africa, we know very well that the majority of the people are the blacks. And now, even when you can look at the statistics, if you can just assume and look what is going on, the people who are going to be more infected are the black South Africans. So the Africans, including the Africans from South Africa and Africa at large, those are the people who right now who are much vulnerable to the situation in which we find ourselves in. But what I'm much concerned is to come up with solutions, because we know that the legal framework of our country has been made clear in a precise manner so that it can accommodate each and every person. That is why we are talking about democratic type of a government. So in this type of a government, there are human rights which are involved, which are enshrined within the Constitution of South Africa. Right now, when you look at the situation in which we find ourselves, we end up having something called lockdown. And that lockdown, it was done in respect of the Disaster Act. So now, it was not done in respect of the state of emergency. But the Disaster Act, which is existing, it allows the state to do what? To restrict certain certain rights. Certain rights are going to be limited. For example, one which is important is the issue of freedom of movement. Then now, when it comes to freedom of movement, then the state was allowed in terms of the act that the people movement can be restricted. It can be allowed. There's nothing wrong with that. But right now, what we see is that the South African government allowed it, that it can have some stages. The stage in which we're talking about the stage 3, wherein the freedom of movement has been allowed, but to a certain level. But the question is that allowance, that freedom which has been given to us, it is to our beneficial or not, having considered the importance of life at this juncture. Right now, I can assure you, my brother, that I've been going through South Africa. I've been able to go to certain places where I see that the South Africans in villages, especially in townships and also in villages, they are not adhering to those rules, like the issue of covering yourself with a mask, like the issue of adopting to the issue of social distance. No one is doing. Majority of the people are not doing that. And the question is, why are these people not doing that? What is their problem? What makes them to refrain from covering themselves, to refrain from just complying with these rules which are existing? Now, my brother, with due respect, I can assure you that there's a problem with what? With the way in which we conduct ourselves, our lifestyle, the Africans, the way in which we have been used to conduct ourselves. We are people who are used to work together. We are communal people. We are people who are enjoying a company of each other. But now I can tell you that that a company which we are used to it, the Africans, they are still want to try to ensure that they can visit each other, whereas they know very well that thing is not allowed.
Ibambelapo, just 2 seconds. I want to bounce the idea. Advocate is telling us that due to the coronavirus, the government has assumed power to restrict movement. People are not adhering to movement. In your own world, how would you view the issue of the arms of state when it comes to restricting and managing people's movements, more or less in the space of the African child?
To me, as much as I am African, to tell you the truth, Mr. Maponga, they speak about coronavirus. Yes, I agree. Yes, there is a pandemic in the world. But you see, the thing about the government not actually showing the people the proof. Because there are some of us...
Can I just fix this thing? I think it's rattling on the... That's it. Let's go.
Okay, so as I was saying, the state is put in place by the people, for the people, right? Okay, we have a pandemic now. We do not have a chance to address some of the problems. For example, in the communities, they've never seen anybody who has corona. They don't even know what it is. Now, it comes from European. It is information. The doctors say this, who say that. Where is the proof? But everybody has to be in this space whereby they're in a panic of something they've never seen. Now, that's where we have a problem. And when the people try and rebuke because they do not understand and they do not have the proof, we have these arms that were bought, but they've never worked for anything unless when they have to restrict the black community. So I think, to me, it is more of manipulation. And yes, I said it is manipulation.
Okay, the young man I'm sitting with here, Prince Sikhosana, actually says this is manipulation. Your response, Honorable Advocate?
You know, with due respect, I do understand that the Africans are not used to law just because the law has been written. The law has been existing in Africa. The African people, they have been having their rules, their way of life. And even the courts have been there existing. The kings and the chiefs, they have been having their rules. They know that they have been conducting themselves within certain parameters of certain rules which have been existing. That is when we are talking about customary rules, customary laws. Those, like when we are talking about the issue of morals, you see. But what I can tell you in respect of what actually is going on in South Africa right now, I can assure you that what we need is more solutions than to complain about whether we have been manipulated or whether the government did not do this, did not do. It is a high time that we, the people, we must go to our governments to tell them that, look, we understand, but we are concerned about life. The life is at stake here. Right now, what is supposed to happen is that a lockdown is supposed to be done. I don't want to refrain from stating it. I'm not ashamed to say it. The lockdown, the question is what can be done? Is either lockdown can come during the weekend, and then if it comes during the weekend, there will be nothing wrong, because if you can go on during the weekend, these people, the South African people who are in the township, they are roaming around and they continue to infect each other. So they continue to infect each other because they are roaming around. The problem is what? The implementation of the restrictions which are existing. So you can have the law, but the question is what? Are you able to apply that law? Are you able to enforce that law? So the rules are there. You can say that, no, okay, now we are under level 3. But what is supposed to happen? We were under level 3, we said, no, there are restrictions. Which restriction do you see right now? There is no any restriction which you say, there's no restriction which you can see. People are at liberty. There's a freedom of movement. In South Africa, people are going in and out. They are passing. They go wherever they want to go. So what I was saying right now, we are in a serious dilemma. The calamity has already fallen within our house, within the shores of South Africa. So what is supposed to happen, especially in Gauteng right now, you can see that we're in trouble. What is needed right now is solution. What needs to be done to ensure that, no, we do what? We cap the spread of this virus, which is continue to engulf our people. So as a matter of an agency, the government, I'm appealing to the president and those who are in authorities to say, here is the chance, please. In fact, this weekend, there was no need for us to say that people this weekend they have to go to their gathering, to go to wherever. We were supposed to say each and every person who want to enjoy the freedom of movement is supposed to have a permit. So like when we have done it during the first lockdown. So we don't have to move away, run around and say that, no, look, these people that are digging the graves, they are doing a lot of things. What is needed right now is to ensure that, no, we protect the remaining life which is existing right now.
Okay.
What we have is at stake right now.
When I come back, I will want to pick your brain again in that line, because people move not just for luxury.
Yes.
People move
Yes.
in search of food. People move in search of water. People move for livelihood. Now, is the lockdown process aware that the people you are locking down behind their houses, they have enough of the resources that can be found within the walls of their own houses? To the other advantaged people who can buy stock of 15, 20,000 and fit into their pantries and in their houses. Maybe we can talk lockdown, someone can stand away. But our people who live from hand to mouth, who must go and work and get that 20 rand, 50 rand, 100 rand per day, and then on their way from there, they must buy relish, they must buy, cooking oil and go home, and tomorrow it's the same thing again. I'm looking at the ladies who are selling vegetables on the sides of the street, and that is their source of livelihood. And when you restrict people from moving, how do you think that these, hawkers will survive? We'll be back right after the break, and when you come back, Chief, I want you to address, you keep that question at the back of your mind as to how do you deal with poverty in the line of restrictions and applying the rule of law to curb against corona. And when we come back on you, African spirituality in terms of dealing with this. Now that people can no longer interact and greet and shake each other's hands and have a community, what type of a community are we now building? Right after the break, we'll be back. My name is Maponga J, hosting you here on Sankofa.
Feel the heat.
Hold on. To make it through this journey alive, you're gonna need someone to teach you the ninja way.
Don't just stand there, kill someone! Feel the excitement. Feel the heat with Starsat.
China's saying that the latest outbreak is under control.
Feel the heat.
The cabinet has decided to ease restrictions on certain other economic activities.
I don't want to be a white person who sits by and does nothing, so that's why I'm here today.
Feel the excitement.
We are here to unite, because what we are fighting for is to stop institutional racism.
Feel the heat with Starsat. Feel the heat.
You said you love me. I do.
You sure?
Yeah.
Leave my house and go. Oh no, you don't! Get out of my way! Get out!
That is an abomination. Oh, the love you promised me.
Do you have a boyfriend? Yeah?
Feel the excitement.
You don't know how I've been longing for this.
Feel the heat with Starsat.
Welcome back to your show here on Sankofa with my guests, Prince Sikhosana and Advocate Zakaria, who is in Pretoria and from Johannesburg studios, where we are discussing the complexities of the coronavirus and in light again of our program, which is Sankofa, looking for some solutions around this greater catastrophe that has befallen the country. Before we went for the break, I asked you a question. How do we balance African spirituality with the modern challenges that we are facing as a country and as a continent at large?
Actually, to me, all of these teachings, just like the divinity, the jurisdiction, the research for the medical labs, and all of this is really not ours. It's not ours at all. So our culture is based on our civilization to start is based on a people working together to survive or build a better structure. So now, with this new system, actually we find that a lot of things are not happening. There is actually more division than unity. We actually do not have an African medical research center that is widely known. So we have a question there, because we find that the government doesn't actually have some finances to start new things for African people, or to go out there and find out about their needs. They actually do these surveys under the mentality of the same European, let me just say, European academics. So we really have a problem, because we've never seen African people evaluating things in an African mental perspective.
I hear that argument. I wanted to push you further. How is the restrictive laws and lockdown laws impacting on the African spirituality in terms of people communicating, touching each other, working together, the same working together you're talking about? How do we work together if we are not allowed to be together?
Actually, there's something that is more beautiful about black people, is that, you see, in truth, we do greet each other. We eat together on the same plate. Because our knowledge of survival is based on us standing for us, or us helping us. It has always been like that. So if we had to listen to the restrictions, let me start there. If we were to listen to the restrictions of the hearsay about corona, for instance, like I said in the beginning, for someone like me who has never seen someone with the sickness, for instance, there are TV ads, okay? These TV ads have always shown black people saying, I have this sickness. The sickness is because of this. These are the people at the hospital. This is HIV. This is Ebola. Now it's corona. No news. No patient. We can't see anything. So for us as a people who are surviving through hunger, like you said, hand to mouth, it is very difficult to put that mentality of the lockdown regulations into us, because we think of the children that we leave behind, of course, when we opening the door.
Okay, fair point. And but while you're on that, be thinking, because it's only on the 5th of July. I buried a friend who actually passed away, and the doctors said it was due to corona. Over to you, advocate. How do you respond to the poverty issue and laws of restriction? How do you balance the government enforcing law, and yet people don't have means of survival?
You know, my brother, with due respect, what actually is going on in our country, we understand the situation that there's a lot of people who have been stricken by poverty to the extreme level. But what I can tell you, the honest thing is that far away from the issue of being stricken by poverty, here the people that the lockdown which I'm suggesting, which I'm coming with Abu to say that it can come on weekend, is not a lockdown wherein people we are saying that totally they are not supposed to do anything at all. But to avoid those loopholes where people are just roaming around doing nothing. And if those people that are already infected, they will continue to spread it around. So I'm saying, what is required right now, the solution, what is required here is to ensure that the increasing number of the people who are infected is kept. You see, what I'm trying to say is that we have got a problem in our country. Right now, previously during the lockdown, the stage one, you go, all of us, we were allowed to go to the shops. You can go there and you can get what you want to get. But the restrictions and the implementation, you find that there are long queues to enter into the malls. But right now, if I can tell you that tomorrow, when you're going to look, if you can go to a mall, you want to buy something, you will find that there is an influx large number of the people which people are flooding to the malls right now. And these people, they are coming across each other. And then amongst those people who are going to the malls, some of them, they are infected. So there is no way in which we can say that the number is not going to increase. So what needs to be done? Because we know that our life is at stake right now. We are not saying that they're not supposed to go and shop. But the implementations of the rules. Like before, during the stage 1, we used to go to the malls. There will be the queues, long queues will be there. And then in those queues, when you know that no, you are on that queue and it's long, and we are allowed maybe perhaps in a store per store, and we're allowed, there's a restricted number of the people to enter into the store, then it was going to be, it was good for us, because we were able to do what? To adhere to those rules and regulations when it comes to social distancing. So people have been doing that. But right now, people are not adhering to those rules. People are doing the way they want to do it. You go to a store when you want to buy something, you will find that you are closely packed there, and you want to buy something. You don't have any alternative other than to go to buy what is an essential for you. But if we are well arranged, you see, because remember, we are not just living as maybe in the jungle here. We are in a country which is having rules. And I can assure you that now these rules, for them to be adhered to, you need manpower, you need force. You can increase the number of the police. You can increase the number of the soldiers. We used to see the visibility of those people. If the police and the soldiers are roaming around, they're moving around, they can ask you, where are you going, my brother? Do you have a permit? If you don't have it, they have to arrest you. Now it's like no people are no longer arrested. So we're not just saying that people will be arrested, but there are people who are continuing to loom around. They are not doing anything. They are not hunting jobs. If you go to other townships, you will find that boys are playing footballs. And when they are supposed to go to school, they don't want to go to school. They enjoy playing football around the parks there. So I'm saying to you that right now, a clarion call is this one, that there should be lockdown during the weekends. And these people who are enjoying their alcohol, they won't have time to do what? To mingle amongst each other. Each one who wants to drink will drink in his own space. So, But right now, these people, they will go around, they mingle, they drink together. So what do you expect us to see? And that is our vulnerability there.
I think I catch your drift there. He's advocating that we need more laws, more regulations, more police presence, more military presence in terms of managing the movement of people. And what is your view as far as, because when people are moving too much, they are going to get arrested. When they get arrested, we are back to square one, incarcerate them, arrest them and lock them up in prison. I know you're going to mention that as a problem, but I want you to start moving towards a solution.
You see, the police and the army are not responsible for a health care matter. You see, that is exactly the problem, because there is no solution to the system. You see, let me put it this way, especially for the advocate, for his benefit, of course. Why do we not have more nurses or doctors? Or, okay, there is this question again. They say the symptoms for coronavirus take 14 days. If you have the symptoms for 14 days, you die. That's the case, right? Okay. The people who have been recorded of death are those who have been found with symptoms and tested and found positive of COVID-19. Okay, we agree. They tried to help them. Most of them didn't recover. A few of them recovered. Fine. This is my question. What about those who had the symptoms for 14 days, have never been checked, but didn't die? How do you explain something like that? That is the one question I've always wanted to ask, Mr. Maponga.
I'm your host.
Of course.
I'm your host. The young man is asking questions there. Your response, doctor, advocate, in your own circles, can you share a testimony or an experience of your coming in contact with corona? I've buried a friend of mine last week who passed away from corona symptoms and stuff like that. And I've had a few other friends, my niece and my wife's young sister is also in quarantine right now. And another friend where this one died, him and his son are positive and the wife is free. So I could say maybe in my own sphere, I've bumped across maybe 5 or 6, 7 cases which are very close to me, so to speak. And what you are raising now, the young man is saying maybe this is all a hoax. We have no proof, we have no facts of what. Can you help me out here?
You know, my brother, with due respect again, what actually is going on, we need to look at the reality, what is actually going on. We understand that The nurses, in fact, the nurses and there's a lot of people who are required right now. And we've got a lot of graduates who are outside there, who are doing nothing. So in fact, there should be no any person who is doing, who has graduated, who has done medical degree or medical diploma. Those people who would fall under that sector. All of them, they're supposed to be absorbed and come to our rescue. No nurse should be left there outside and not coming to our rescue. And then including, we've got a lot of people, including the environmentalists, including people who are doing safety management. So health and safety sector is important for us right now. I agree. But what is important right now here, we have to look at what needs to be done in respect of doing what? Of trying to avoid the increasing number. Because people have been spreading gospel about the flattening of the curve, which they've done it before. But right now, it's like things they have just slipped within slipped in our hands. So we cannot allow it to be like that. That is why I'm saying right now, what is required, because we know that now we are in trouble. We need to come up with strict rules which are going to be adhered. Because let me tell you some simple example. If right now you said no, people they see the police and they see the soldiers, you think these people will just continue to walk, to move around as they please? That presence of those people who are moving around, it will make our people not to continue to move as they used to do that. Because what is important, we're not trying to terrify them, but what is important is to ensure that you are trying to do what? To curb the spread of this virus, because it's continuing. And right now, I can tell you, in Gauteng, each and every department is having people who are coronavirus positive. So right now, it means if you go to work, it is there. If you go to any place, it is there. So right now, we just say, okay, it's fine. Let them live like the way they're supposed to live. Because they said, no, it can be, it is in our hands. Yes, if it is in our hands, let us do something with our government, because you can't say that it is in the hands of the South Africans, excluding others. It is in our hands, all of us. We need to do something right now. But the people who are in power right now, those who are our leaders, they must have the zeal to ensure that, no, the people of South Africa adhere to the rules and regulations of this country. Because right now, if you can see, maybe to add on top of that one, the lifestyle of South Africans, the South Africans, their lifestyle need to be looked at. That these people, if they are used to just roam around, what can be done to save them? We can't just say that, no, it is in their hands and we allow them to move like that. They will be infected. And those are our relatives, are our brothers, which you have indicated. So right now we need to do something as a matter of agency. We can't sit down and we say, okay, it's fine.
Hold it right there. Hold it right there. Hold it right there. Yes. We will take a small little break. And when we come back after the break, we want to start looking at solutions. What do we do? And from your corner, in terms of African spirituality, what sort of solutions do you think we can have? And in as much as you may doubt the presence of the virus, because maybe it does not come in contact with, but in the event that happens, how do we do it? And Honorable Advocate, I want you to prepare yourself in line with disaster management strategy in terms of outlines, so that we are only not talking HIV, syphilis, corona, flu, and etc. What in your world would become the best way of any government to prepare for disaster going forward? Just after the break. Thank you very much and welcome, and we appreciate you and really, really grateful that you've given us access into your homes and into your private space here with your Galaxy Universal Network on your Sankofa program, discussing the current issues in light of the pandemic. But in the backdrop of that, we are trying to look backwards and look into the future and see what kind of solutions would we have from the past. And with my guest with me here is Prince Sikhosana. According to you, as far as spirituality and African spirituality is concerned, what sort of solutions do you think we have to start considering in terms of curbing, dealing with, and harnessing this pandemic that is upon us?
Actually, it's more of, since we're living in an advanced world, I think since African people have more knowledge in herbal medicines, I mean, they have always practiced that. We need to see them having had something that they did, especially with the cure. Because we all know as Africans that firstly we check with our own family. So now we do not have a medical research center to evaluate these kind of things. Whether we have an idea that can cure Europe or China or Asia, you know, but you get my point. So
you're saying what? Firstly, we need a research center.
We need our tax money to work on the ideas of us advancing the healthcare system. It's as simple as that.
What is your take on indigenous medicines? Just upfront.
Actually, it has helped more. It is found to be more effective to the body in terms of healing. They're better than the drugs, actually, that they create in the pharmaceutical companies. So, to me, they have a proof. Yes, so that is what we say. We as Africans, I feel like we are not given a space whereby we practice our medical technique, by even our parents. They believe some of it is like witchcraft, some of it is this. So I think we have a problem of knowledge.
Knowledge.
Yes.
So we need better knowledge.
Better.
Advocate, over to you, sir. As far as you're concerned, in terms of designing a disaster management strategy going forward, what are your suggestions?
Well, thank you very much, my brother. Right now, if you can look at our country right now, we can see that the government have been trying its level best when it comes to the issue of considering drawing the policies, trying to adhere to the rules, doing everything. We have seen what they have done. But I'm saying right now, my brother, with respect, is that we are in trouble. And then when we see ourselves in that situation, what are we supposed to do right now as a matter of agency? We need something urgently to be done. We can't say that, no, we continue to see those numbers continue to grow on a daily basis. Right now, what needs to be done, I can assure you that what needs to be done, which I believe that it will work. We need to sacrifice 1 or 2 days. 1 or 2 days per week. It is going to assist us because already people that are talking about the issue that of the economy, people that are talking about a lot of things. And then far away from a lot of things where we're debating, people are challenging each other. This government has done this thing, blaming each other is not going to help us. What is important right now, if the government can come to our rescue, they can even hire the reserves, police. We used to have people who are police, who are reserves. They can even hire temporary soldiers. They can even hire graduates who are, especially in the health and safety sector. They can hire them on temporary basis so that they can come to our rescue. And look, when we go to the schools there, now they're giving these people 350, those who are unemployed. Those people that are the ones who were supposed to come to our rescue. They were supposed to assist us to see that in the malls, in the shops, that people are adhering to the social distance, adhering to the rules and regulations. You can't give these people money, whereas these people are not doing anything. These people whom we have given them 350, if they were assisting, maybe in the shops and everywhere, to say that, no, look, they're supposed to assist because to defeat this disease, to reduce this, to flatten the curve, you need manpower. You need a workforce wherein you have to involve a lot of people. And then now when you give them money, these people we know very well that they take the money and then they go and buy alcohol. And then on the thing, when they are drunkard, what they are going to do? They will misbehave. They will do things which are unacceptable to us. And then we know very well that the South Africans, majority of them, when they are intoxicated, they are unable to control themselves. So what needs to be done right now? These people, there's nothing which is supposed to help them rather than to sacrifice a day for them and then to absorb them to the workforce. If you absorb them to the workforce, you are not, if you don't have enough budget, but they will understand that our government is not having enough money. They will take whatever you're saying that no, you give to them. Like now when they are going to take, they're taking whatever you're giving to them. So these people, they're the one who's supposed to even to do what? To marshal our children when they go to school, even when they come back. They are supposed to assist everywhere. So you can't just give them money like that. You're dishing the money to the people who are doing nothing. Then beside that, I can assure you that no, if there are people who are supposed to work in farms, who are supposed to go to work, they can be allowed to go there and do those things. Essential services should be allowed to continue. We can't say that no, we don't want them to go to and work. But what is important is to ensure that these people whom you see on regular basis, they adhere to the rules. They can't just live as if they please, as if there's nothing which is going on. They know that the pandemic is existing. But right now, they are unable to adhere to the rules. It's because some of them, they have lost interest upon our government. Now, they just, if you say no, but if we need to behave like this, you try to tell them that this is, they will tell you about the leadership. But it is a high time that if these people, they are getting monitors, there's an enforcement, then there's no way these people, they cannot behave. Right now, I can assure you that if you hire people for a period of almost 6 months to 1 year, I can assure you that something different is going to happen. You are going to get the good results. There is no way we can say that no, we're not going to get the results. I can assure you that.
Thank you. I think your advocate is raising some few important issues, and in terms of the system, reinforcement. He's also talking about getting reserves, improving on our health system, and above everything else. But there's a question that we are not dealing with, which I constantly want to throw at both of you, and say we have a pandemic. People don't have means to livelihood. And I hear you mentioning those that are receiving stipends and etc., and they end up using the money again to do something else. But I'm trying to look at this thing seriously, because the corona pandemic has affected employment, we like it or not. It's a fact. Industries are closed, restaurants are closed, and mainline businesses, some of them are actually out of operation, where thousands of our black people are actually the most affected. And the question is, how do you lock people away who don't have the means of survival?
It is colonialism, because you see, from a person who sells on the street, a street vendor, people can do a social distancing because they don't even have to queue on the till, you understand? They just have to buy, take whatever they take, they go. But the law says it is safer to go where you're going to be packed and wait. And it is unsafe for you to just meet just one lady, you buy whatever you buy, you just move on from there. So in the black people's mentality, what does it say? I mean, this one is for him. So it doesn't make sense. It's colonialism. They say you do. You don't look at your mothers, you don't look at your aunts, you don't look at your grandmother. They say you do. Even the one who taught the law system that the only way to enforce people is not to explain, is not to produce proof, is to just hold the gun. You see, that is wrong. It's totally wrong. To me, it is colonialism. They say we do. It has always been like that. So,
well, the young man is coming out with guns blazing here, challenging the whole system that why is it difficult to allow the street vendors who can just buy one person and you go away, than to group people in the malls where there must be in large numbers and there must be queuing, and the chances of infection where there are larger groups of numbers is higher than where you are buying on the streets. How do you respond to that, Honorable Advocate?
My brother, you know, for this country to be able to flatten the curve, hence it has been something that was supposed to be done before. To flatten the curve, it does not mean that we need to sacrifice, all of us, from all angles, from all different sectors, we need to sacrifice. That is why I was saying to you that right now, remember, if the person who's a street walker, she has been able to sell maybe Monday to Saturday, and on Saturday she do not sell on Sunday. Then right now is if we look the loss which she might say that she has encountered. It's not to say that no, look, we are saying that no, you don't have to sell at all. We are saying that no, but let's sacrifice a day, 2 days, see, because we see that no, we're in trouble right now. Perhaps because, and you look at the days in which you see that these people right now, these people on this day is the day in which if it was possible, I can say that no, there's also supposed to be a research to which days that no, in which days does the spread of the infection, can we say that no, the infection rate has been done between which dates? And if it can be found that on those days, if it is on Friday, then right now you decide that okay, Friday, each and every week Friday, then it's going to be lockdown. And then I can assure you that no, even if the economy can be affected, it can not be affected to that extreme level. It's supposed to be an issue where we are saying that no, all of us, we need to sacrifice. We need to sacrifice a little bit, because if we don't do that, I can assure you that no, those graves which has been there, which people are worried about, they are going to engulf people.
Hold it right there. When we come back on top of the program, I'll throw it back at you. Is it African to dig graves for people before they die? Just after the break, we'll be coming back in studio with me. Here is Prince Sikhosana, and on the line is Advocate Zakaria on your program Sankofa. Your host Maponga J. We'll be back right after the break.
God is so amazing.
Feel the heat.
The Bible says that through his death on the cross, we are now reconciled with our Father.
Forgive and you shall be forgiven.
So wherever God takes us, we're just excited about it.
As a child of God, where you are, you must have an hour of prayer.
Feel the excitement.
In the name of Jesus! In the name of Jesus!
I believe that God is working right now.
Feel the heat with Starsat. Feel the heat.
You said you love me. I do.
You sure?
Yeah.
He bows down. Oh no, you don't! Get out of my way! Get out!
That is an abomination. Oh, the love you promised me.
Do you have a boyfriend? Yeah?
Feel the excitement.
You don't know how I've been longing for this.
Feel the heat with Starsat.
Welcome back. It is getting hot in this seat of mine here. I have an advocate on the screen here, Advocate Zakaria. I have a young man here, Prince Sikhosana, and ideas are beginning to clash in the air. I want to throw it back at you, sir. In African customs and in African culture, sir, is it proper that you dig a grave for a person before they die?
It is one, improper. Two, it is not our way to do that. So because of knowledge and justifications, we have people doing as they please. When they see this is fit for them as a group, like the government, then it's fit for everybody. So it is more of narcissistic than being impartial or fair. To a certain community. It is the same with the schools. For example, if I ask the advocate here where he learned divinity, for me it's divided. How does it give the results? Because you see, for every system that we spend our money on, our hard-earned money, our hard-earned tax, we're talking trillions. Where is the solution? Where is the proof of the solution? Even for for the healthcare system. Where do we check? Where do we get a chance to have a traditional healer come and say in an even battlefield, because it is a battlefield, let me check this person, let me examine this person in front of you so that I may see something that you didn't see. We do not have a guarantee that the machines see everything. We already know that as African people, but we deny it. Deny, because there is something that can make it easy, that we accept easy in our mentality. So how can we obviously get out of this situation that controls a certain different systems into one objection, into one agenda? Because the agenda is still the one, but it's in many different groups. It goes with rules.
Fine, point taken. Advocate, as far as you're concerned, dig the graves before the people die. I hear 1.5 million graves are being prepared. I mean, you are vendor, you're Tsonga Pedi.
I'm a Pedi.
You are a Pedi. So you go to the village and you find that they've dug a hole with your name on it in anticipation of your death. How do you deal with this as an advocate? You're talking about human rights here. You're talking about respecting African culture here. When such things happen in your world of legal practicing, how do you view this in terms of violating of African culture?
You know, I can assure you that, no, of course, we are the Africans, and then the culture is there, it's existing. But when we look, if you look between the culture itself and what is at stake right now, you can have to have that, no, someone, if we can try to substantiate to say that, no, the reason is because I don't want to see ourselves having the situation where we don't know where to bury people. But the question right now, if you dig the graves in such a high number, the question is, it means now you show us that, no, you have given up. And even the people that they've given up, you're saying that they are given up, it means already people are going to die. Then you have given up right now.
Let me press you hard. Because when you dig a number like 1.5 million as a government, you are saying something in advance. You are already putting a strategy into operation. Are you? Not, is there something that you're not telling the people here? Because you cannot just wake up in the morning to be digging 1.5 million graves and you don't know how many people or approximate how many people will be dying.
Like I said from the beginning, that, no, look, I agree that if maybe sometimes somebody a lot of people will say that, no, whose grave is that? And then one will say it is wrong to put. That's why I'm saying it is wrong to put that such a high number of graves, because it looks like there is no hope. And then when I look at maybe when it comes to the African culture, we know very well that, no, that thing is going to become like a taboo to say that you cannot dig a grave for a person before he can die, you see. So, but far away from the issue of culture, because this, it will be culture versus the realities of life. Because this culture which is existing even now, sometimes our culture needs to be developed. Because people are sticking to culture to say that, no, this is because it is the way of life of our forefathers. But the very same people who are preaching culture, they are not developing the very same culture. Because if you are talking about that we are the Africans, this is our way of life. You, the Africans, as an African man, we need to sit down to say that, no, we understand that our forefathers have done it like this. But what can be done to move forward? So that we need to develop our way of life. We do it in our way, our own way of Africanism, you see. We can't say that, no, because it was a taboo like that. When you are facing problems, when you don't have people who can be able to dig the graves, then you don't do anything like that. But I'm against it if it is for the purpose of benefiting, you see. Because right now I can assure you that, no, a lot of people that are criticizing it, they're talking about it, but they forget that what is at stake here is life. So to stop those graves from not consuming, engulfing the people, you need to do something to prevent the spread of virus. So people, they have lost, they've missed the point here. So because what is supposed to be done is to show that, no, you flatten the curve so that you can be able to do what you can be able to get a small number which you can be able to manage so that these people they can get healed.
Okay.
So right now,
let me throw my.
One point which I would like to highlight to you is that the people who are getting healed, they need to come up and tell the South Africans that no, the strategy, the exact strategy for them to be able to be healed is 1, 2, 3. They can't just say we have got recoveries, but we don't know exactly what they have done. They must reveal the secrets that this is what I have done. And then I think you can also do it.
Excellent, excellent. And I hear there's some trolleys and some scooters that have been bought to transport people with coronavirus, and a huge budget has been spent in terms of buying these small little scooters to run around and carrying patients. Have you heard anything about that?
I've never even heard about it. I've never seen it. That is the problem. You see, they do as they please to the public and forget the public are responsible for their very lives. They earn from the public. They get so educated, they decide for the people. You see, that is the main reason for our distraction today. Most of the people on the street, if I go orally, I go now to the street and say, have you seen anyone with corona? They say no. Have you seen anyone with corona? No. Up to 50 people, 100 people. Now, why do they say, for example, they once say they bought how many beds? Did the people say they need beds for the hospital? No. So we really have this problem, this psychological problem of people. It's not even African spirituality, it's African healing, because it is done physically. A spirit has never took a branch from a tree to help build it into maybe a pill or something. So anyway, my brother, what I was going to say is that, you see, as African people, we need to respect ourselves. We need to love ourselves, not to just listen to something from next door without us checking it or letting them in to say they check it. That is the main problem.
All right. I think that brings us to quite some interesting views from real people. The advocate from Pretoria, who is advocating that we need to close up the country every weekend, say Friday, Saturday and Sunday, restrict movements and reduce the people drinking and etc. The young man on my right is advocating we need to take our resources and build up our health systems in terms of the research centers, where we can also be able to prepare for disaster that is going forward. Inclusive to that is the issue of indigenous medicines for the entire disaster management strategy. And the two clarion calls are here on both sides, is that the government must never forget that it is leading people, genuine people. And we are watching whatever is happening in the governments. And the issue of digging graves, I hear it loud and clear. It is taboo. It is unspoken for. On the other side, but the government must plan and it must project. So corona is a reality, whether we like it or not. And when we look backwards where we are coming from, the question is, how have we dealt with these problems in the past? What solutions do we find in the present? My small little 2 cents worth: take some steaming water, take some camphors, take some Vixies, take some Hlonyanas and some of these herbs, put them in a bucket there, cover yourself at least once or twice a day, if possible. Drink lots of water, alkaline diet. Try and be healthy. In as much as we are worried about those that are sick, I think my message now is for those who are still healthy. Don't get yourself infected. Don't expose yourself. Put on your masks where we are getting into dangerous places. Eat healthily. Boost your immune system. Avoid coming in contact with other people. Don't shake hands. Do the Shona thing. Just raise your hands, show them elbows, and show some love. Your host Maponga J on your program Sankofa. Mwana wa mchena chigara mboko gara mashamba huda chirana wana wanji wana mkumbe mwana mwesende we shano wana chigara mauke matombano bora chiwikitedza chino kwigwa wana manga walipedo wano tambana cho. Until you see you again on Sunday afternoon 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock on another mind-blowing session here on Sankofa. Have yourself a good night, and thank you to my guests for gracing us with your presence while we are here on Sankofa. Good night to you all.